Hi guys, it's Cal from Dirty Weasel. Welcome back to the mod organizer for Fallout New Vegas series. In this episode we'll be continuing with mods related to guns. More specifically, weapon animations. Variety is good, and having choices in how you carry your weapons, aim your pistols, and even vary your stances can certainly enhance your experience depending on your playstyle. The main focus today will be on Joe Fox's excellent weapon animation replacers, or W.A.R. I'll show you how to merge them into a single download using Gopher's FOMOD builder for W.A.R, and then install them into Mod Organizer, and go over the various options that are available to you. Next we'll talk about the Weapon Animations Enhanced Camera Compatibility Pack. It adds a different third-person stance for rifles that meshes well with the first-person view of Enhanced Camera. Let's go look at a few comparisons. These are the vanilla poses, not much to say really, they're just for reference. Joe Fox's animations, to my eye, look much smoother and have a number of variations for pistols, rifles and shotguns, and automatic weapons. It even includes options for different body stances and pistol aiming styles. With the W.A.R. Enhanced Camera Compatibility Pack, you get the added bonus of animated fingers in third person. But mainly it positions the rifle higher near your shoulder. When you compare it to the first person perspective, it matches quite well. So let's get installing things. Alright guys, we're back at the Fallout New Vegas desktop, and I always like this color scheme, it's very pleasing to the eye. But before we begin, I want to remind everyone, in our efforts to keep modding free, please donate to your favorite mod creators. As part of Dirty Weasel Media's mission statement, a donation will be made to the mod creators featured here upon release of this video. Got Mod Organizer up and running, you can see there it is. And I've got the internet up, and of course the first mod we'll be covering is Weapon Animation Replacers by Joe Fox 082, mod number 38527. And you read the description. It's a pretty short description. This mod allows you to change the animations of rifles and pistols. The animations of this mod are specifically made for Fallout New Vegas. This mod may not be compatible with any other animation or mod that alters weapon animations or the default New Vegas movement animations. This mod should be compatible with pose type animation mods. Okay. So version 2.0 has two files in it basically. The Professional, which is the pistol pack, and the Commando, which is the rifles. Okay? And I went ahead and I downloaded both these mods. And then I went over to the Weapon Animation Replacers FOMOD by Gopher. And I downloaded that as well. And I was going to go ahead and show you, just open these all up and move them all around and unpack them and show you a bunch of interesting stuff and how to do all that. But I ran into a problem later on in that process, and I was kind of stuck. And I went and looked into Essarrbee of the Fear and Loathing New Vegas site. The guide is invaluable at all times. I was thinking, well, maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's something that I should have known. So I scrolled down to Weapon Animation Replacers. I didn't find the answer I was looking for in this, but I was reading this, and you have the link to Weapon Animation Replacers, and I was reading this, the Nexus site mod page is here. Huh? Was this not? And I looked, and it's a different file. Shout out to Will for the combined installer version. Alright, well that's kind of interesting. So I went ahead and clicked this. And it gave me this page. Weapon Animation Replacer Installer 7-zip. Huh. So I hit download with it, and I wanted to go take a look at it. And here it is right here. And I opened it up, and to my surprise, Will, whoever that may be, has already put all the stuff in here. Characters, first person, there it is. Has it all in there. So this is basically as if I had gone through the old way of installing it using Gopher's FOMOD installer and combining the packs myself. Will has already done that. Thanks, Will. I appreciate it. So, we now have this FOMOD, ready to go. We don't need to go through any of those additional steps. And don't worry, guys, I always put links to everything. I'll put this link up here for you, okay? So don't worry about that. So what do we want to do with this file? Well, we need to put it into Mod Organizer. And you can see, you could just go ahead and hit the installer for external mods, and then go ahead and select the animation replacer right there, and then open it. But this is one of those mods that you may want to change multiple times as you see options. And if you do that and you try and, I'll just hit reinstall this, try and reinstall a mod that you don't have in your downloads, it won't work. Okay? So what you'll need to do is go to wherever you keep your downloads. Almost forgot to remind you guys, if you ever have a question on where your downloads are located, go up here to configure settings and workarounds, go to your advanced under general settings, and you can see download directory right there. Right, whatever's here, that's where your downloads will be found. Of course, I always suggest having your downloads someplace else, and for me that is under my dump drive, my D drive, Mod Organizer, Fallout New Vegas downloads. And you see, this is where I keep all my downloads. Since it's on a separate drive, it runs a little slower, but I don't care. I really don't. So what you'll need to do is take that and move it over to Fallout New Vegas downloads. You see, there it is. Okay? So we can close that down, open Mod Organizer back up, and there it is. Great. So this is where we ran into a problem. The first time I ran this, it wouldn't run. It gave me an error about not being able to find the right runtime, and it gave me an error code 5. So what I had to do is query info, and it had a blank mod ID number. So this is where it's important to go ahead and go back and have some of these other things so you know where they are. I went to Gopher's FOMOD, because this is the FOMOD essentially, and I looked up 43240. That is the mod ID number. Okay? So I put in 43240, hit OK. And it asked me to select the version, Nexus Mod Manager version, and then it worked. It's not showing that error now because Mod Organizer is pretty smart and it remembers things even without you telling it. Okay, so if you do get that runtime error and it's code 5, just go in, hit query info, and put in that code, 43240. Now you can go ahead and double click to install or run the external installer. And there it is. Just like Gopher's FOMOD, there is no difference between Will's version and Gopher's version. He just went ahead and repackaged it for us. So, what we have here, Weapon Animation Replacers FOMOD, you have the first person, assault rifles, rifles first person, pistols first person. And if you click on each of these, this is how it looks in the core version. Okay, assault rifles first person, you get this view. Option 2, it's pointed down, or option 1 rather. Option 2, it's kind of mid shaft, so it's somewhere between all the way down and all the way up. Rifles, you see it's pointed right at it. Option 1 is down. Option 2 is kind of holding it up. And then pistol core, option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. Okay, why this is relevant, I'll put these all back to core. It kind of corresponds. So if you have first person assault rifles, third person, which is the view that you have when you're playing third person, see all these different things? Boom, boom, boom. We'll just go through them real quickly so you can see all the different options. Third person core kind of looks like first person core. Well, kind of, sort of, anyways. So, like option 1 is very much down. Option 1, very much down. Option 2, so kind of in the middle. Option 2, kind of in the middle. So, and you get the idea. So first person rifle, third person rifle, option 1, option 1, option 2, option 2. See how they kind of correspond, right? First person, third person, option 1. See, you see a pattern here. Now, if you are primarily a third person player, you can go ahead and put these however you want them. It's not going to make a difference. If you're like I am and you play this primarily first person without much VATS or much third person whatsoever, your aiming will be off if you use anything other than the core. Right? So rifle, I want to have core, pistols have core, assault rifles have core. That way your aiming won't be off. Now, third person doesn't make a difference. It's primarily appearance-wise. So, if you want assault rifles, you have a core, you can put it there all the way down. So it's basically for screenshots. Okay, that's kind of how I do it. When I'm making videos, how they're carrying the gun is basically off of personal opinion. I kind of like that. That's good too. I'm fine with either. Rifles, third person. There's the core. Option 1. Option 2. Oh yeah. Shotguns and rifles, like lever actions, bolt actions. This is good. I like this. And then of course, third person, you have the core, which I never liked at all. Option 1. Option 2. So you got that. That's kind of the down. Holding it behind your right hip. You got the double hander right next to your ear. And the double hander right in front of you. I like this one. Don't ask me why, but I do. So for me, I like third person assault rifle, kind of mid. This one, carrying it up at ready. And then option 4, the double hander, because that's kind of how I shoot anyways. So that's closer to me. So, up here, aimed pistol. You have 2 options. You have professional, which is the double hander right out in front of you, and the gunslinger, which is single-handed. A lot of people like this one. I can see that, especially if you go with option 2, and then go with the gunslinger. You go from that to that. I like that. That's good. It's just a different style. Whatever you think is appropriate for your character. That one I'm not too pleased with, but it would go really well with professional. Right? Option 4, down and ready. To this doesn't make any sense, but if you go to professional, yeah, that makes sense now. Okay? So option 4 to this. So you have one more box down here at the bottom. These are stances. This is the default stance. These aren't, you can't really tell much on this until you're actually in the game moving around. It's hard to get a clear view of what's going on here. This is the default stance, relaxed stance. That is kind of, the knees are a little more bent. He looks just kind of more frontage, and then shoulders are very much down. And then heroic stance, shoulders more up and back, and he's standing with his chest out. Okay, you'll see it in game when you play with these things. And this is why, you kind of have to choose your character, and then choose a stance. What looks good with him? What looks good with the armor? A lot of times, if you have an armor set that doesn't look good and relaxed, the heroic may be better, or vice versa. What I've done, for me, I like first person core all the way down. Third person, I like the rifle mid shaft. Lever action shotguns and stuff, I want high and ready. And then third person pistol, I like it down, double-handed, and aimed professional. Double-handed, right out in front of you. That's how I shoot anyways. So, there you go. And you hit install. And there it is. And it's going to be all the way down here at the bottom. We go ahead and activate that. And I like to have it up near, underneath the cameras. Now, you're going to see, thanks to Mod Organizer 1.3.8. And if you go back, this is just a side note, if you go back and look at Essarrbee, that may be what he's talking about with the Nexus CLI installer. I know that 3.7, 3.8 of Mod Organizer, those changed dramatically. So, anyways, version 3.8, it will show you what it's overriding, and it's going to be overriding Yukichigai and Eve. I wouldn't worry too much about that because, from what I understand, the Yukichigai patch and the Eve ones are overriding, if you go to your conflicts, basically the same things. Okay? If you look at the ones they're overriding, you can put them up here, let's say, put that up there, then you can see what it's being overwritten by. It's essentially the same files. So what it's doing is basically replacing files that you already have. So don't worry about too much. It's replacing the same files. It just doesn't know that they're the same files when it does it. That's all. So that's where I have it. That's where I have it. I like it right around there. There is no ESP to worry about, so there's no plugins. Look, no plugins. There you go. It's basically just overwriting these files. So there's that. Now, like I said, if you want to go ahead and change it for whatever reason, you right-click on it and you reinstall mod. It's going to ask you, it's already installed already. Do you want to add files from this archive? It's basically the same thing as merge, replace. In this case, we're going to replace. We're not going to merge any files. Don't ever do that. You're going to replace it. It's going to run the installer again. And we're right back to where we began. And that's how you do it. Mod like this you change quite often, so it's a good way to know how to do it. So there's that. That's the weapon animation replacer FOMOD. So we'll minimize that down. So next mod up is, and we can close that, and that, and that, is the Weapon Animation Replacers Enhanced Camera Compatibility Pack. Now, you remember in an earlier episode of this series, we installed New Vegas Enhanced Camera. If you have this, you may want to get the Weapon Animation Replacers Enhanced Camera Compatibility Pack. This, just like I said, be aware this is a incomplete mod. It only covers the rifles. The second-hand auto animations have been redone to fix amateur posing motions. Finger animations have also been added. You'll see that in the video ahead of time. I think I showed that a little bit. You can see it. When you try this out, you'll see it pretty well in third person. All these packs are standalone. This is a collection of tweaks for Joe Fox's W.A.R. and Logic Dragon's Enhanced New Vegas Camera. All right, we have both of those. Before downloading, please note this mod is complete and currently a work in progress. I am uploading for those who don't mind playing interesting or playtesting unfinalized content. It works pretty well. I like it a lot. I think it adds a lot. These other animations are really cool. I didn't show them in the preview in the beginning because it just would have taken too much longer. Okay, but it works really well. So, still to be done, pistols and shoulder-mounted weapons and launchers. Okay. Now, it talks about the installation. We've already gone through and done that. You don't have to follow these directions. But when you come to the files, you will see Release 2, two-hand rifle animations. Install alongside Release 1. You don't need this. Okay? You don't need this anymore. I would go ahead and, because this one, Release 1 was replaced by Release 3. That's why you don't need this. I know it says that alongside. Just don't, okay? Overwrite version 1 or use by itself. See that? So Release 2 has a download with manager button. We're just going to download that manager, and it says your notifications. I know I didn't do this ahead of time, but that's okay. Continue with my download. And away I'll go. It's going to pop up over here. There it is. It's working on it. And then Release 3 is a download manually only. Okay, download this manually. All right. And of course I have it already here. But let's go back and double check, make sure it is ready to go. Release 2, second-hand rifle animations. Very good. All right, minimize that down. So what do we do with this? Well, we're going to go ahead and put this in our downloads page also, since we may need it for whatever reason. And of course that's in my mod organizer, Vault New Vegas downloads. Drag, drop, done. Okay. I want you to minimize this down. Don't worry about this too much. You don't need to go query stuff on this. It'll be fine. I want you to go back to Essarbee's page. This is where he has a lot of great information, and I would suggest having this open in the background, because you're going to have to follow quite a few directions to get this to work correctly. So just have this open. You can see I have mod organizer right next to it. Oops. You can actually follow along with the directions as you do this, because I'm going to go by memory on this, but you can go ahead and follow along. It has some good information. Just read this whole thing before attempting this so you know what you're getting into, and then follow along with me. So it's going to say release 2, install release 2, secondhand rifle animations file first. Okay, release 2. Double click to install. All right. Next is you want to open these up, and it says to expand release 2 secondhand animations, and you do that just with the little arrow tab right there, and then expand raw files. And you're given data, and you're going to right click on data, the set data directory. So you only have meshes. And click OK. Looks good now. Now, here's what I suggest. I'm just going to go ahead and ignore update. I'm going to activate it, and I'm going to move it up to where I want it now. And I'm going to rename it. And rename mod. I'm going to call it WAR-enhanced camera patch. Just because it's easier to type in later on. So we now have a new name for it. Next, installation instructions, install release 3 with animated fingers next. Okay, double click to install. And you have a whole new set of things. And it says to expand the animations, so you have data. Expand it again, you're going to see meshes. And what you're going to do is hit data, highlight it up, and you're going to right click on it and create a directory. And you're going to name that directory NVSE. Just like over here, okay? You click data, select directory, name it NVSE. Click OK. See, now you have 2 files underneath data. 2 categories, right? So, there's that. And then it says to click NVSE, right click on it, create a directory named plugins. Hit OK. So now when you open that up, you have plugins, right? Next, it says to drag and drop NVSE enhanced camera.ini into plugins. Grab it, drag it, drop it. Okay? Now plugins has NVSE enhanced camera.ini. I want you to close these back up. Close up. Close it up, fellas. Highlight it again. Right click, set data directory. So now you have meshes, characters, mail, all this stuff. Okay? And you have NVSE with the plugins that has the enhanced camera.ini. That looks good. I want you to now come up here. I almost forgot because I had to do this like 3 or 4 times because I kept forgetting. And we are going to name it the same thing as the mod we already installed earlier, which has now been renamed to WAR-enhanced camera patch. You have to put the spaces in there also. So it's W.A.R. See, already messing up. W.A.R. hyphen enhanced camera patch. Did I pay? Yeah, I called it patch. See? CH. See, I thought about putting it enhanced camera compatibility packet, but compatibility I kept messing up and putting not enough I's in it. So anyways. So it will go ahead and match that exactly. I want you to hit OK. This mod seems to already exist. Do you want to add the files from this archive, overwriting, or do you want to completely replace? No, we don't want to replace it. We want to merge it. Now, when you come up to this, there it is, the WAR Enhanced Camera Patch. Double click it. And it has conflicts, but it's basically just replacing some of the animation replacers for the FOMOD. So the thing you just installed before. And you can see what it's overriding. So it's just, remember we talked about, is basically a patch for those two mods right there. Weapon Animations FOMOD and Enhanced Camera. Okay, that's it. That's about it. I mean, it works very, very well. I can now hide these. And now that we have got that up and running, let's hide everything else. Let's go in game and see if it actually worked. So here we are in game, and we have some weapon animations. So you can see the two-handed weapon grip for the professional. You aim it like that. That's what I like. Now when you switch over to rifle, you can see because we're using the W.A.R enhanced camera pack, it's held up high. Even though I selected that I wanted it held, butt down, barrel up, because I've overwritten the files from the FOMOD, it's now held at high ready. Now what that makes that relevant is when you go to first person, it looks very much like the animations. So the fingers work. See, the fingers work on that. You can actually, as you're running, it actually works like you're running. The only problem is I got head bob. We'll fix that in a second, but that's what we get. Now if we switch to rifle, same thing. Held high, ready, right up against the shoulder. You can actually see the rifle move around. It's kind of cool. And the fingers work. There you go. So, we need to fix that head bob and do something else that Essarrbee asked. So, let's head out of the game and we'll fix that stuff, and I think we'll be close to being done. Alright, now that we're back at our desktop, let's go back and refer to Essarbee's site. And there are some final instructions to go. This mod, over here, this mod has some any settings that all users should be aware of. Double click on the mod in the left pane to get the any files tab. Okay, once again, let's minimize this down so we can see everything together because we want to get those instructions. Double click on it and you have the any files. Go ahead and click that and now we can see all the any files. And what we're looking for is B enable head bob, set 1 to turn on, set 0 to turn off. Okay. Note this overrides the camera position and may not be as compatible with some animations. Fingers may not work if you get rid of the head bob. Just letting you know, it really depends. I play with both, and I decided to give up the fingers to get rid of the head bob. At least that was for me. So it's over here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about a half dozen lines down. So you got 1. If you want to turn it off, go to 0. First, and then the other note here. Hit save. And if first-person shadow is cast by the player, this is off by default and may cause some performance issues. So it's recommended to turn it on. If there are performance issues, just turn it back off. Let's open it back up. And we are looking for B first-person shadows. B first-person shadows. Off by default. 0 is always off. 1 is always on. There it is. See? It's been changed to 1. Right there. Hit save. And close it. Right? We'll run the game one more time and see if the fingers turn off again. That's what it did for me last time during testing, but we'll try it. So there we go. So you can actually, my fingers do move. I don't know what I did wrong last time. The fingers wouldn't move, but they are moving now. So I guess it does work. I guess it does. I did something different. Head bob is gone, but you can still see the animations of you running. And you go to stealth. See, the gun kind of goes even farther down. See? See, the gun actually goes kind of down. It's kind of weird looking, actually, when you're in stealth this way. But anyways. Yeah, it looks good. I think it looks fine. Oh, right in the cactus. But the gun is held farther down. Let's switch over to a different gun. Ooh, that's a different animation. Let's see what that does. Oh, when you're stealth in the ground, the gun is held up. That's pretty cool. I like that. And when you're in first person, you can actually see the tip of the gun. There you go. Aim it out. Turn the crosshairs back on. Alright, looks good. I think, I actually like that a lot. I may change my mind on this. It looks good. Right? I think I like it like that. So anyways, I'm done playing around. Let's close this thing out. So that's it. We covered basically 3 mods, but with 2 basic major changes. The weapon animations FOMOD, the W.A.R enhanced camera patch. I'm going to give credit to Gopher for doing the initial FOMOD patch. I know Will packed it up really nicely for us, but he does deserve credit for that. And of course to Joe Fox for giving us such great animations. So that's it for now, guys. Episode 15, we'll actually start adding some weapons. Adding them in. So we're talking Millennia. The Millennia packs. And we'll actually be merging our first mods. So that's it for now. My name's Cal. I'm from Dirty Weasel. And I'm signing off.